There he goes.
I liked it. I like that a lot.
That was more exciting than the last 90 minutes that I watched.
Yeah.
Well, it was better than Saturday, wasn't it? Right, here we are for our post-match 330 centiliter can. And of the game of Southampton 0, West Ham 0. Another goalless draw on the bounce. And what a way to end this year.
Woo!
Do you know what? Looking back at that game, I think it's like we said in the stream earlier, it's one of those games where you look at it and you think, do you know what? Last season, we probably would have lost that 1-0. You know, there were so many games like that last season, like at home to Burnley and at home to West Ham, that we would have conceded a goal and been even more sad-faced than we are right now. So, do you know what? If we're to take anything silver lining, I think that would be mine. How you feeling, Jack?
Yeah, mate. It was a really dull, boring game, same as last week. But I am.
Was it better?
I don't think so. I don't know why I don't think so. I don't know why that felt like it really dragged for me. Whereas I felt the Fulham game kind of skipped along a little bit better. I don't know. They were both terrible games. Let's not hide it. But you know, but they were terrible in the sense that they were boring for us to watch and they weren't entertaining. In a sense of how tight is our defense without our best defender? Great.
Yep.
Really good. Alex McCarthy again with a great save. Like he's pulling off some proper Anti-Niemi level saves recently. I do honestly think he's keeping us in points. I think that was the best opportunity of the game, was probably West Ham's, that save from him. So that's good. But like we were saying, we both agree that it's great that these are games that we would have lost. These are games where we would have dropped points and we didn't lose. So these are good. If we were there, we'd probably be hating it a lot more. Probably would have got finicky today. These are the sort of games where if there were fans in the stadium, we probably would have lost because we would have gotten finicky and people would have started getting on it about the sideways passing and the certain moves.
Yeah.
That's the big difference.
It is. I mean, looking over at the stats, I mean, West Ham had 9 shots to our 8. We had 3 shots on target. They also had 3 shots on target, so kind of similar in that regard. Now, when it comes to the differences, when it comes to passes, 474 for Southampton, 237 for West Ham. So it just shows you the difference in style of play.
Yeah.
Now, another thing, like I mentioned in the second half, there was a bit of an abandonment of the philosophy of Ralph Hasenhüttl football, where we were just kicking it all over the place, and there was just a real need to just calm it down a bit. So, which we seemed to do in the final 10 minutes of the game, but those were the moments where you tend to concede a goal when you lose the method of play. But the possession overall for the game was 62% Southampton, 38% to West Ham. Touching the opposition box, 23 for Southampton, 24 for West Ham. So kind of similar on that regard. Expected goals, Southampton 0.6, West Ham 1.2. I don't know how they calculate that. How do they calculate that?
I don't know how stats are made. Next time Statman's here, we'll ask him how to do it. Maybe they'll learn it at university. But
how do they do expected goals? I expect goals all the time. That should be 100%. What the heck?
Well, here's the thing. It's for me. That does say a lot. And you're right. Towards the end of the game, we lost the shape. I said it the first half. The thing we'll probably miss most today is Ralph on the touchline.
Right.
And I think that was really the case. We came second half. We didn't really come out and do anything. I feel we missed a halftime talk. I feel like Shea coming off at 58 minutes must have something to do. It's either they just felt that'd be the attacking option, but more likely, I think probably the fact that he got booted in the head. Maybe he was like, maybe I should probably go have a sit down.
That was brutal.
That was pretty hard. He didn't watch the live stream. Mike laughed hysterically when it happened.
It was one of those ones where you look at and you think like, how's that not being looked at? I don't know. It just seemed okay. It was accidental, but so was every single foul.
But here's the thing, right? People would laugh and say when I say it's a high boot, but if you come in for a header and you come in low and someone goes to kick it, that's a high. They count that as a high boot. No, just because you're on you're on the floor, you can still head for the ball, and if someone kicks you in the head, that's not. You can't punt kick people in UFC. That's illegal. You're not allowed to do that. But
exactly.
here, they were just like, well, that was an accident. It's like, yeah, but he kicked him in the head.
Like I said, if it had been a UFC bout, they would have taken a point. Definitely taken a point.
That's disqualification in UFC, Mike. That's not even a point away.
Yeah, you're probably right.
We
should have had
that's
2
not an
points.
We should have had 3, really.
So let's jump into the chat section. There's a few comments up here straight away. Leo Futcher, disappointed once again. It does feel disappointing, but we have picked up the first point against West Ham under Ralph Hasenhüttl. So progress. So
I think some Southampton fans have forgotten what it's like to be a Saints fan.
Yeah, this is true. And again, that brings me perfectly onto the next comment. Starting to get worried with the lack of goals. Does anyone remember the goal drought of Shane Long of the years between 2017 and?
Does anybody remember the Mark Hughes goal drought?
Yeah.
How long did that last? How long did we go without a goal at home?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
People need to just remember where we are and what we're doing.
Right? And we have had the ball in the back of the net a few times in these games, albeit they've been offside.
Okay, that's exactly.
Shay Adams as well. So just check your run, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's one of the big things I honestly do think is they need to check their runs, because there's a lot of offsides, and even towards the end of the game here, there was a point where the ball came over, and both Ings and Long were both offside, and then it fell to Armstrong. But it's like, come on, boys, just be onside. And you're right that too many touches around the box. That Walcott shot, was it amazing? No, but it dipped and it was dangerous, and it was probably, unfortunately, our best chance of that half.
Yeah, it makes
scary. You question, why are you passing the ball tick-a-tacker around the box, trying to get into the box when you know you're not gonna break them down after. If you've made 15 passes outside the box and you still haven't got into the box, you're not going to get into the box.
No.
That plays over. Try something different, and that thing different should either be play it out 40 yards to a Romeo or Ward-Prowse to smash it, create space for him to be able to smash it, or play it out to the wings and try and work on our crossing.
Right. Work on that. I mean, yeah, there's another comment here from Tom. Clean sheet, tired legs, not too upset with the point as 0 clear-cut chances. And let's be honest, West Ham are the best opportunity to score and take. He's going to take a point. I'm feeling a lot like this because there were a couple of moments in that game where it just was reminiscent of previous seasons, where those are the moments where we tend to concede. They're just replaying the one where Jack Stevens heads it in the air and it lands to Lanzini or Benrahma. Oh no, this is Benrahma. It's another chance. So they had no, it's the same chance. Benrahma chance. It was Benrahma chance. How many times can Mike say Benrahma chance? But yeah, it was one of those games where they either side could have nicked it with a goal, and we'd all be feeling much worse. So take a point, move on.
The other way to look at it as well is if someone said to you last season before, it's West Ham, it's midweek, it's 6 o'clock, it's our last game of the year. What would you expect from it after playing a long game against Fulham on the weekend, which was also a grueling draw, and also your manager's not on the touchline? Like a draw. Draw. And that's okay. Maybe I would have liked a better game. Would have been a 2-2 draw or some goals, but a draw's a draw.
Yeah,
I'd rather a 0-0 than us score 2 and concede 2. That's an honest opinion. I would honestly rather us draw 0-0 than for us to be duped back 2-0. Which
our chance to win it was in the first half.
Exactly.
We were just so on top on that first 15 minutes, and it was just like if we got an early goal, then it would have laid out the game completely differently.
I think the most worrying thing for me is it gets to that there are obvious points in the game where you realise we're not going to get anything from this now. It gets to about 80 minutes at 0-0, and I think this is going to be 0-0 now. Or it gets to 75 and it's like, this is it now. This we're playing for this result. Whatever the score is at that time, it's like, that's what we're going for now. This is it. And it happens a few times. You can keep happening. You see it happening in games where we get to a point where we're like, "This is good enough," and then a lot of times that's when that's that 2-0. Then that's when we lose a lead. That's when we do this. And again, you can look at it as a more positive view that we're now getting to that point, and we are just safely seeing the game out. No point today did I feel worried that we were going to lose our heads and do something stupid and cost us the game. And we had Jack Stevens playing.
Yeah. I mean, Jack Stevens had a pretty good game, I thought, and it is a bit of a compliment that Dawson from West Ham, their central defender, got man of the match as a compliment to us trying to break down their defence and get a goal. So there we go. I'm just going to bring up another comment here from Stephen Barron. He's put up, "We lacked a creative player. Tadic. Sure, that'd be nice to have Tadic back." Do you know what? I brought this up because I don't think Danny Ings had a great game, and Che Adams, after he got kicked in the head, also didn't have a great game. And those are the two players that tend to be quite creative in putting each other through, and a combination of Mr. Jen Napper or Theo Walcott in combination. And I think, our most creative player on the pitch is arguably Danny Ings, and he didn't have a great game. So maybe that was the difference that we really missed. But there were a few players today that weren't quite on the boil. But
it's that thing of we're coming into January now, and it's who do we think we should buy? And everyone says we should buy a centre back, and it's like, why? Stevens is quite clearly proving he's up to a job of a backup to Vestergaard.
Yeah, and you heard it, people. We are talking about Jack Stevens being up to it.
Yeah, I honestly, it's that thing of at the beginning of the season he was shaky, and it comes in waves and it comes together. But after a while, we all seem to find our form. Alex McCarthy was the same in the way that he would just drop out of, he'd be really good, then he'd just drop out of form. And then he would come back. But now he seems to have come back and he's in form. When was the last time you saw McCarthy really make a bad mistake? Beginning of the season, first couple of games?
Yeah, right.
Jack Stevens, first couple of games, or not great at all. But now he's come back and he's really solid. You're missing the Vestergaard long balls, but that's fine. I would say the things we need are probably backup wing fullbacks for both sides. We need some cover because if either of them go out, we're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Bertie's looked tired the moment he started.
And then you're quite right. A creative forward, whether that's an attacking midfielder who can also go up top, or it's a striker who can play a bit deeper as well. Could almost take Danny's. You almost want another Danny Ings kind of thing where he can drop back and be creative and play the ball through, but he's also a good striker. I know that is a big ass. That's a ridiculous ass, but I think that's more of a priority than a centre back, which a lot of people are saying.
Yeah, and I think I said it before about Nathan Redmond on his game is a fantastic player, and he's so creative, and when he's got confidence and it's coming off for him, and then he is that exact player we're talking about. Another couple of good comments here. 15 games, 4 defeats were hard to beat, as my old man used to say. Yeah, 15 games, 4 defeats. You take that all day long, wouldn't you? I mean, I think we've probably exceeded our drawn games this season, haven't we? Compared to last season or something like that. Jason has only conceded 2 in the last 5 games.
That's what I mean. All of this reads to me that defensively we're really good.
Yeah.
And okay, you might need a bit of backup, but who's just? I don't know. He's the invisible man, but who's to say Salasu isn't a decent replacement for Bednarek? It's only because our current centre backs are so good,
right?
That he's not getting game time.
Yeah.
And you would have thought, and if Stevens has dipped so much in form like we think that he needs replacing, then why has he started the last 2 games and been really decent the past few games? He's a good backup. Yeah. So we just need to wait for those FA Cup game. That first FA Cup game, I think, is going to be quite a telling sign of what talent we've got on the bench.
Yeah, I think that's the game that we're really going to have to ask questions if we don't see Salisu on the pitch.
Yeah,
I think that's when there will be no hiding. You will have to say something to the fans.
Yeah. What's going on with this guy?
What is going on? Because if you can't start them against Shrewsbury, who can you start them against?
Exactly. So that's a difficult one. That is a difficult one. But the weird thing about it is he was one of the first people we signed. He wasn't even a last minute. Like Diallo, I kind of understand a little bit. Like, okay, he's not a fire starter. So
Second or third choice to what we originally wanted.
What we wanted. I get that. I get where that's coming from. But Salasu was right behind Walker Peters.
Yeah.
He was the first thing. So he must have been first choice. Or unless he was third choice, but from last season, but we could only get him this summer, you know? But that makes no sense. So I'd be really concerned if that was the case.
Well, the YouTube highlight reels look amazing. I mean, he's clearly got a lot of talent, but it's just very confusing that he's not getting game time. So
it's just unfortunate because the way you look at it is that there are so many tightly compact games where we're getting fixtures all the time. It's crazy, but it's not like it's an FA Cup and then a League Cup, like the way it used to be when you have a lot of games where you have different competitions. It's just this is full on. So like you got to go for it.
Yeah, go. Yeah. Good comment here from Alex. Should put Armstrong just behind Ings up top and keep Walcott and Gineppo out wide. This way we pack the midfield and Armstrong can become more of a creative midfield player. There was a game that we played just after the restart, wasn't it, against Norwich? And it was Redmond and Armstrong. I mean, okay, it was Norwich, so it's probably not a good example. But that game where Redmond was cutting inside, Armstrong was cutting inside, and they were sort of crossing over, switching sides. And yeah, I think that sort of calls out to what you're referring to there. But I just think there's maybe a bit of a loose connection when you've got Gineppo playing there, and as opposed to a Redmond. Whether it's just a chemistry thing, they just need a bit more time to work on it, but they're obviously trying to do the same thing. So
yeah, but you got to keep in mind the first few games that Redmond didn't play wasn't because he was injured; it was because he wasn't in the team.
Right, and then he got a man of the match performance, and then he was on the bench for the next game. Yeah, you can't win, Nathan. I'm sorry.
It's all very, very confusing. The other thing to keep in mind is in previous seasons we've had so much squad rotation because we didn't have a clue what we were doing.
Right.
Almost since Puel, we've had constant squad rotations and trying different things.
Yeah.
So now it might just be the fact that we're now treated to having a solid 4 to start. You're like, well, there's not squad rotation because if it's not broken, don't fix it. You know.
Yeah. If you're not going to improve the squad, why change it? Yeah.
And now we're like, where are all these players that we've bought? We've seen them a billion times by now because nothing works.
Yeah, is that what we're doing? We're basically contradicting ourselves live on air. It's like, where is Salasu? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know.
I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to think of every angle of why we haven't seen him at all.
Yeah.
And it is that thing of sometimes, especially this season, Saints fans, I think, just need to calm down a bit on the speed of how much we're getting done. Like, if there are people who still think we should be top 4, you're nuts.
Well, if there's Spurs fans thinking they should be top 4, they're nuts. If there's Chelsea fans thinking they should be top 4, they're probably justified considering the money they spent. But it's a weird season. It's a really weird season.
Me and you both agreed that I thought 10th. Where did you say 8th?
I said we're going to win the league. No, I said 7th.
You said 7th. So in my mind, the way our season would go is that we would be sort of that we should be there. The way that the season usually goes is it's not so much that we're 10th, 9th, and we're trying to get there. It's usually we're 15th and we're trying to work our way up.
Right, and we're thinking just 4 more wins and we'll be out of this.
Yeah, exactly. That's our unusual mindset. And now we're on the other side of the top half, and we're sort of thinking. In my mind, I'm still thinking, yeah, if we finish 10th, that's amazing. That's another big improvement.
Yeah. And it's why I've put Stephen's comment up here. West Ham are normally our bogey team, and absolutely, this is our first point we picked up against West Ham since 2017. So
we are getting better as a team, and it's clear to see. But because the results aren't exciting, people are getting they get shitty with the team. But luckily, because those people aren't at the stadium, no one's taking notice of them.
Right. And we've got a point against West Ham, and we got a point away to Chelsea, and yet we were like, "Whoa, this is amazing!" But the manner in which we got that point back, that was great. But you look at our previous results at Stamford Bridge, and you think, "Well, yeah, we should probably get something from this game. This is exactly the sort of game we should get." So, progress.
That's the thing. It's all about progress. it's it's just fun to see the club turn into this new thing. Like we were, it was dire for a long time, and now we're changing into this new system, this new way of playing. Not just playing football, but just this whole Southampton way is just we've changed it, but kept everything. Like from the youth system up, there's a change and a pivot in the club.
Yeah.
And if you can't see that, you're not watching enough. If you can't see that, you're not watching this channel enough specifically, because
absolutely,
like the thing we pointed out,
like and subscribe. So we have a bit of a break now, because they're just replaying that Danny Ings guide. Just burst into the box. Should have done that when someone was onside. We have a bit of a break now. Sorry, sidetrack there. Until Monday. Monday, we're back at St Mary's against Liverpool. You got any thoughts on that, Jack? I have no idea, considering what I've seen today.
Right. If we can hope that Ralph's back, and it'll probably be the same starting team as today. Does anybody know?
Will he be back? He won't be back. It's not far enough. Is it? How many days?
Yeah, but is he? But he hasn't got COVID, has he? Is it someone in this house has been around somebody with COVID?
I think a member of his family has got COVID.
What are the rules? What are the rules?
Can someone in the chat section please help us out? We don't know the rules of COVID, even though they've been pummeled into our brains for the last 9 months. Let us know. But I don't think he'll be back on the touchline for that, which would be disappointing.
I think there's probably more of a likely chance that, and I know that I don't wish this, I don't say it, but I could, because Liverpool being up north and that sort of thing, I could see more players. And by the time we hit Monday, everything could be very different. You don't know what's going to happen in the meantime. It's just nuts right now, so it's hard to predict. But if you were to say to me, it's tonight starting 11 is Redmond back? When's Redmond back?
I don't know. I don't know the update on his injury status.
So let's just for point of argument say it's the same team as tonight, but you've got Redmond on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
It's still going to be a hard game. It's still Liverpool. It's still going to be difficult. So I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not going to be surprised. In my heart and head all just tell me we'll probably lose that game. However, as always, if we were to win that game, it would be amazing.
Yeah.
If that's the sort of game, if we win that game, the league gets really interesting and weird.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Things start to go a bit nuts. So we'll see. What about you, sir? What's your predictions for it? Obviously,
similar, very, very similar. I can see us. I can see us defending quite well against Liverpool. I mean, West Brom did a good job against them, but we don't really play that kind of old school style of football, and we sort of commit quite a few players forward. So that also has me concerned.
There's a few things about this game in that. I mean, I'm very concerned because of what happened with Spurs. That I think this is our real.
A bit different. We did the system, but we did it horribly.
But do you know what I mean? Though it's one of those games where if you get exposed, you'll get exposed horribly because they're very good at that.
Yeah.
It's this. If it's 0-0 against Liverpool, we are all saying that's a good result.
Mm-hmm.
If we get a 0-0 draw against Liverpool, if we get if it's a third 0-0 on the bounce, fourth game without scoring a goal, you would all say that was a good result.
Yeah,
that's how bonkers this game is.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. But I'd love to see us scoring goals again. Obviously, it's the most stupid thing I've said tonight. But I think that's something that a lot of Saints fans will like to see. If we are to, heaven forbid, lose that game against Liverpool on Monday, for us to at least get a goal would make it feel a bit better.
Exactly. Or the other way to look at it is that we could do an Aston Villa.
Right.
Really put a statement in. It's about time we put an absolute hammer in on a team that out of nowhere,
Do you know what? I was going to do a whole video on that to say the reason why this is a far more devastating loss than the one that we do not speak of on this channel. 11 men on the pitch, just won the Premier League title. you lose by that much. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah, but what?
But you're right. Anything's possible.
What have they done since then, though?
Yeah, it's a very, very weird league at the moment.
But it's not a big concern, but it's a little one. Is that technically the January transfer window is open, and if they've been making moves to get a centre back already, which is it being Liverpool, they probably have. There's a good chance. I doubt it'd be Monday, but they will be getting a new centre back soon. So hopefully they don't get something ridiculous in.
Don't you say it? Don't you say it? Don't.
Vestergaard turns up.
Don't say that. It's but we go through this every January, every summer transfer window. We overperform. Suddenly we're looking around at our players thinking, just sit tight. You're all right.
Yeah,
You only need to earn 25% of what majority football players in this league earn. You're fine.
I don't see anybody.
Think of the badge.
I honestly don't see anybody leaving us this season. I think Vestergaard needs another season doing what he's doing before a big club will take him.
If Vestergaard's smart, yeah. I mean, I never want to see any of our best great players leave.
Here's the thing, Mark. That's just tough. Everyone at the club will tell you you all have to deal with the fact that our best players will leave. You have to have faith in what we're doing now that we can replace them and go again.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly don't think the only team that would hit the upside to all this, the only team that would pay for him and pay big money is Manchester United because they desperately need a centre back and they're desperately running out of options. And they could pay through the nose. If somebody paid 50 million for Vestergaard this summer, you'd be quite happy. But in reality, there's a good chance if he had it this season again, he could go for 55 next season.
Disagree. Not that if Harry Maguire can get 80 million, what does he get? 90 million?
Yeah.
Something like that. I'm sorry, but anyone who's buying an informed centre-back needs to be...
Yeah, but I think he's broken that bubble because everyone now realises centre-backs aren't worth that much because he's ruined it. It's like we did it with Van Dijk and it was actually worth that money. Like Van Dijk was absolutely worth... they paid 90 mil, almost 100 mil for Van Dijk? Yeah. That was absolutely worth that money. So everyone assumed, okay, a decent centre-back, Premier League proven, is worth a lot.
70 million that we saw a broken down portion of. Some went to Celtic, some went on.
Exactly. So you see, so I feel
something
like
premium bonds.
I honestly feel like Maguire really, really hurt that. And I also think Sancho not leaving Dortmund for that ridiculous money has also hurt the price of players anyway. I think price of players might get slightly less ridiculous soon.
Yeah.
Just because of the clubs aren't making the money they made this season, so there's no way they're going to have that kind of transfer budget. So it's either you're going to see players stay and see out their contracts a lot more, which would be good. That would be nice.
Contracts is the word.
Or you're going to see slightly more reasonable transfers with players going the other way.
Yep. Yeah, it's very true.
So I can't wait to get a Lindelof at Southampton.
David Baker will come here. Hi guys, I worry if Saints do too well, we lose our manager and best player. That's nothing to laugh about. Don't put an LOL on that. That's it's a great concern for us all. And Stephen Barron with more worried about Ings. There's still no news on the contract of Danny Ings, and I think whenever we talk about contracts, we're just simply talking about protection of price points. And that's what we need to be worried about.
Well, if we start scoring goals, maybe we give him a contract.
Absolutely brutal.
Stop getting so injured, mate, I reckon.
But it is always going to be a concern of a Southampton fan, as David pointed out there. If we do too well, then ultimately people start to look at us. And we're not able to offer the kind of salaries that unfortunately a lot of other clubs are. I get annoyed. I tell you what I get really annoyed about is when our players leave for nominal fees to, like the Højbjerg thing, that wound me up a bit towards the end because it was got cut price and it just felt a bit kind of...
Yeah, you just wanted to leave at a certain point. But in reality, but that was annoying, but everyone has worked out absolute trumps for that. Everyone, it's come off. It's worked. That transfer has now worked for everyone very, very well.
Yeah, Romeo getting more game time.
Exactly. Romeo getting more game time and stepping up, being a great player. We get Kyle Walker-Peters. He's changed the back line. He's fantastic. And let's be honest, Højbjerg is doing a really decent job for Spurs. He's playing in that system really well.
Yeah.
What I will say, David,
counter-attacking, boring football for Spurs.
Exactly. He's made for it. But what I will say, David, I'm not worried about Ralph leaving. If anybody's worried about that, I recommend them go watch the fan forum from the other week, and it will really sort of show you how deep he now has his hands into Southampton. And it's not like another manager where they're just the manager or they're just the coach. He is running the club. He is along with the director of football. He is running that club. So
yeah,
I can't see you getting laying vines and roots that deep in the club for you just to take away. And he's already on really good pay.
Yeah, money and risk, isn't it? Because he could have gone to Dortmund, could have gone to Bayern during his successful years in the Bundesliga, but he didn't. He could quite easily ring up Man United and say, "Do you want a manager?" And quite easily walk into that job. But the reality is, all these managers are on the same amount of money. Literally, they're on 6 million a year. Have a look, Jurgen Klopp, 6 million a year.
Yeah,
exactly. 6 million a year. It's just the risk. Do I risk my name against going into a risky situation and being expected to win the Premier League, or do I sit and work on my little project and make average footballers incredible and sell them on for millions of pounds? It is, yeah.
It's honestly that fan forum really gave me hope of what's to come for Southampton. And the way they want, and I do honestly get the feeling that Southampton is being run not only differently to how we were run, but we're being run differently to how every other club is run. They've come in with a director of football, and they've come in with this whole new idea of how we run from top to bottom, the way we work. Everything is different, and it seems that it's set for a really long term. It's not a we need trophies, win, do this. It's you're setting this club up to be something completely, and it's to be the best feeder club in the world.
Yeah.
And that might sound really disappointing to some people because that's not, that's not trophies, but it's good, entertaining football, and it'll set us up a long time. And there's nothing to say that in that long term, something like that couldn't happen.
Yeah. The best feeder club in the world. I like that because, of course, the best feeder club in the world, arguably, Atletico Madrid, and then started winning stuff themselves. So wouldn't that be a blueprint to follow?
I would like to sort of be the Seville of the Premier League, always having good Europa runs, but in the league always just dipping.
Well, there we go. Going back to our original subject of this rather disappointing.
Yeah, the West Ham game was rubbish. That's all we spoke 30 minutes about everything else.
Yeah, we talked about the West Ham game for approximately 14 of these 34 minutes, maybe, if that.
And I say, come on, the club isn't up for the club for sale thing is again. Watch the fan forum; they're explaining that a lot, but they're looking for more of an investment than a sale.
Right.
That's what you get from what that fan forum says. They're looking for investors to come in and help again change the club and shape the club into a new way, but they're not looking for owners unless something ridiculous happens. The main thing that they said is that American guy is definitely not coming.
Hey, because apparently he ripped the soul out of a few French clubs as well. So apparently, allegedly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I'm getting done for on this show, but we'll soon find out. So there we go. What's this? 6 million could not survive on that on a year. Wow. You have expensive hobbies.
Well, now that I've found out I've got a taste for champagne, that might be correct.
Exactly. All you need is a helicopter, and you can certainly spend that away. So brilliant. So there we go. I guess that's all left to do is wish all of our loyal fans and subscribers a very, very happy New Year. Thank you so much for joining us over this completely insane 2020. It's not the year we wanted, but it's the year we got. But we, on behalf of myself and I'm just going to bring you into the chat, on behalf of Jack as well, thank you all for joining us. You're making this all a little less painful.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have this.
Exactly. Thank you so much for joining us on the show and just hearing us whittle on about Southampton Football Club, our great passion, our great love for this astounding project that we're seeing. That okay, we haven't scored in the last 2 games, but it's definitely an improved year, and we are certainly hoping for more exciting times to come, and maybe a place in Europe in the following season, which would be very nice. That would be that'd be quite something. So there we go. Any final thoughts there, Jack?
I'm just very happy to see the backside of 2020. And I'm excited for Liverpool to ruin my 2021 straight away.
Yeah, it might happen that way, but either way, we will definitely come out the other side still smiling, and hopefully, maybe in 2021, we'll have an episode which is from the stadium and not from the studio with the green screen in the stadium behind me there. So there we go.
I mean, unless we give the green screen to the people who sit behind us, then there's usually.
Can you imagine that if I said, "Do you mind if I just put this here?" It's sort of see-through. There's a blue screen on the other side.
You guys look cold. Put this green blanket on.
Or just a succession of floating heads.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be absolutely brilliant. So brilliant. Jack, thank you as always. Again, Happy New Year to everyone. And we will see you next year.
He made that joke.
I did it. Sorry, everyone. Sorry. All right. See you next one. All right. Cheers. Bye.
Bye, guys.